We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show, episode 537. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff, joining us as always this week, the OG Undisputed Scholar himself. And he's also the new Scholars of Wrestling Party Champion. He is Scholar Tark. Scholar Tark, how we feeling tonight, sir?
I'm feeling absolutely fantastic. Yes, I am the new Scholars of Wrestling Party Champion. Finally, the Charles that matters is back on Scholars of Wrestling. That's right, I'm throwing shade because
Indeed, you are.
Scholar Charlie isn't here this week to defend himself because he's a party animal. But hey, at least we got one Charles back on the show, and I'm very happy to see you. Hi, Charles, I missed you.
And speaking of people and things we missed, as of course, last but not least, you know him, you love him. He is the one and only Scholar Pete. Scholar Pete, how are we feeling tonight, sir?
As I live and breathe. You know what, though? To give Scholar Charlie his due, he at least watches the show and knows when we talk shit. So I commend you, Scholar Charlie. Come back strong. But let me tell you something, Scholar Tark. You got the CM Punk look going on right now with the hair and everything and the belt. I just am getting CM Punk vibes from you right now.
Oh,
You
well,
take that
thank
as
you.
a
That's not what I was
compliment?
going. I wasn't going that for that, but I'll take it. Thank you.
Which one were you going for?
I was going as me, Scholar Tark, the year of Scholars of Wrestling Party Champion. Duh.
Let me
He's an
tell
I'm
you.
no
innovator,
copycat.
he's creator.
Of course.
But yes, this week in wrestling, you know where we just came from. The Royal Rumble has come and gone, and it was a mighty eventful one, including over here at the Scholars of Wrestling show. And we are going to cover it all, and we're going to review the Royal Rumble that was of 2026. But in terms of results, Tarek, I believe you crunched some numbers and you got some results for us.
Indeed. And it was quite an eventful Royal Rumble game. And I am just gonna just say right now, we have, as Scholar Brian predicted, a new Scholars of Wrestling Heavyweight Champion of the World. And he is Scholar Pete. Scholar Pete, you are the new Scholars of Wrestling Heavyweight Champion of the World. I golf clap you. Golf clap. Congratulations, sir. Cherish it. And knowing you, you're probably just going to hold it until WrestleMania. Smart call.
Of course,
We don't
of
even
course.
need to say anything, do we?
Listen, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, I'm here to entertain you, and of course, my favorite event everybody knows is the Royal Rumble. So, what a way to make a statement, but to start the year off right with the Scholars as being your Scholars champion. And I will go through these 12 months defending my belt and stay undisputed with the belt.
We'll see what happens at WrestleMania. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll figure out WrestleMania when that comes. We got a lot of wrestling and a lot of things to get through before we go there. So, before we get off there, let's continue on with the wrestling weekend that was. Let's talk about the Royal Rumble 2026. The rest of the matches outside the typical Royal Rumbles, they were pretty much just more or less as we predicted. We got Drew McIntyre defending. AJ Styles did pass out to Gunther, so that's another WWE record career in the books. And then, of
Like a little
course,
bitch.
like a little bit, yeah,
Bitch.
bitch. We're trying to keep it PG, but no, not when it comes to Gunther. Not over
I
there.
just, I'm honestly just expecting like he passed out like a little bitch. Bitch, you're just jealous of my phenomenal swagger. Oh, for fuck's sake. Anyone
That
getting the
that
reference, I will applaud you.
that was probably the best possible segue I could have gotten. But yeah, it was more or less exactly what we predicted. What was unpredictable was the Royal Rumble matches themselves. Uh, again, we're not going to be breaking it down in excruciating detail, but I will say, and any highlights from you guys? Because I feel like I was really surprised by the array of reactions we got to the this year's Royal Rumble matches. It seemed like, oh, there were a lot of voices saying, "Oh, it was the worst ever. It was terrible." Other people were like, "Yeah, it was really good. What were you expecting?" Uh, immediate reactions, highlights, your thoughts.
All right, I'm not gonna go on to full on like breakdown of all the matches. I'm gonna go just give my thoughts on like one like each match in particular, and then I just want to hear what you guys say. So I'm just gonna start with how the show started, the Women's Royal Rumble, and it's actually funny because all the reactions I've been hearing is something similar to what you said, Jeff. It's like, oh, this was just the worst Women's Royal Rumble that they've had so far since they introduced the Women's Royal Rumble. But I would say it wasn't a bad Rumble. I actually kind of enjoyed it. And the one thing that I noticed about it is that a lot of people like weren't. Okay, that was distracting, sir.
All right. I wanted to see if I can get it with the
It just
lights.
all of a sudden your attire changed into your background, and it just completely caught me off guard there. But yeah, my the biggest takeaway that I got from the women's rumble is just something that they've really been focusing on when it comes to the women's side of things in WWE is that a lot of the big storyline elements came from the tag teams of the women's division. You have first starting off the Rumble with Charlotte and Alexa Bliss starting the Rumble and them actually like messing with each other, just being like, "Oh, I'm gonna eliminate you. Oh, oh, love you." And then they just start throwing like, "Oh, I'm gonna put you in a submission hold. No, I'm gonna put you in a submission hold. Oh, oh, love you. We're just kidding. We're just gonna wait." And then let's see, who was it? The third person that came out?
Kiana James, I believe.
Kiana James. Actually, yeah, that's right. I'm actually surprised Kiana James lasted as long as she did in the Rumble altogether.
So am I.
But but you have from starting off with Charlotte and Alexa Bliss to um Kairi Sane accidentally eliminating Asuka while trying to attack Io Sky. Uh Rhea Ripley and Io Sky making some moments. Charlotte trying to save Alexa from being eliminated. And I hate to say it, but the return of the Bella Twins, the biggest reaction that we got out of this Royal Rumble when we watched it, where we were just ugh. And then the memories of just how the women's were viewed when these two were at the top of their game, when it just because it was just the women's division and they were just nothing more than uh eye candy. So once they got eliminated, we got the biggest response from all of us just cheering that they finally got eliminated. And I think the one big one is the eventual winner, Liv Morgan, eliminating Raquel Rodriguez. So the biggest storylines that came out of this focus was on the tag team division. And I actually found that really interesting. Just go with what's going strong in your division. And I think that was the biggest factor in it. And I think one other thing that I noticed is just the Saudi response to Lash Legend
Oh
and just
yeah.
how they were just chanting overrated and they were booing it. I felt it was just really unnecessary. And I'm glad she actually kind of pulled the heel card and just kind of just egged them on about it. But I think just some of the biggest criticism that I had with the show in general was that Saudi crowd because they were here to just cheer on people that they know, and everyone else just got crickets. And all it did was just make me worry for next year when it comes to WrestleMania. But other than that, it was a pretty solid Rumble, and I actually did end up enjoying it.
Yeah, I do feel like Lash Legend, at least for the women's Royal Rumble, was the absolute MVP. I don't know what the Saudi crowd was talking about. I thought that she put on a really impressive performance. A lot of the viewing party that we had in the building, they were like really starting to. It was the first time they had ever seen Lash Legend, and she was starting to make an impression on them.
She was
I'm
definitely breakout star of that
def
Rumble.
of yeah, of that Rumble for sure, for sure. I'm not too concerned yet if they do it the same way right out of the gate for next year's WrestleMania, then we got a problem here. But frankly, if it's just due to down to familiarity, I think a whole year's worth of build, at least for Lash Legend, if you haven't been watching NXT, will do more than enough. In terms of the Women's Royal Rumble, Scholar Pete, your thoughts, opinions, feedback.
I mean, to echo your point, gentlemen, I think the craziest thing was the biggest pop in that Rumble was for Brie Bella and like the insanity that ensued, where again, you see what they're setting up for WWE. But shout out to Liv Morgan for winning Jersey represent. To
Jersey
quote a good
represent.
man, same Scarlett Tarek. But I enjoy. I think for me personally, the most entertaining match of the night was the Royal Rumble for the women's for me. We'll get into the men's later in the other matches, but I think this was the most in a with a review that I will be giving you later, Scholar fans. This was the only good match for me of the night.
Wow, interesting.
And
So
I liked how it went, and I thought that the girls did a bang up job in the match. Even Legend, everything. I think as a whole, that Royal Rumble match was the best of the night.
very interesting. On that note, let's switch gears to the men's Royal Rumble match.
Actually, before we move on,
Yes, what do you got?
there's one other thing that actually just popped in my mind that I noticed some people criticized about in the match, but I actually found it intriguing because it's something that I don't really recall happening in most Royal Rumbles, and that is just the fact that there were at most 14 people in the ring at
Mm.
once. And again, that's just something I just hasn't seen before in a Royal Rumble. Like, because at most you get at least 10 tops, 8, 10, around that number. But the fact that at least just under half of the contestants are still in the ring, and really, when you think about it, the only person that could have been able to be that like monster to this like just collect the numbers was probably Nia Jax and to an extent Lash Legend. And they both really did fill that job quite well, but it's just the fact of holy shit, there are still so many people left in this ring. And like I said, just under half of the people. So I just found that something I don't really recall actually happening in Royal Rumble history. I got to look into that. Like who, when were the most superstars in the ring at once in a single Royal Rumble? But this one definitely was just something. I guess I never noticed it before. Maybe just because we had the stats at the bottom of the card, just saying, "Oh, there are still 14 active people still in this Rumble." So it's like, wow, this is just kind of wild. And most people criticize it for being too cluttered, but I just looked at it, so I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And it just goes back to the whole most of the people that were in the ring at the time were the women's tag teams. So they're just getting those moments of story beats that could possibly build into WrestleMania from the Kairi Sane eliminating Asuka, uh, the Bella Twins and their inevitable women's tag team title win. And I got a lot to say about that, especially
Oh,
when it came to their promo on Monday. Woof. But yeah, it's just something I guess again the stats maybe like made me open my eyes and be like, wow, there are a lot of people in this Rumble. But just the fact, yeah, that there were just under half was very intriguing to me and very different in a Rumble.
Different, maybe. I could have sworn they've done this in the past, but frankly, I kind of dig it. Like,
Hmm.
I'm so used to some Royal Rumbles where, okay, there's only two or three people, and then there's like eliminations, constant eliminations, where there's like no more than maybe four or five at a time. I kind of dig the visual of having a big crop of people just sort of in the match, just sort of like sticking through it until and you only start getting some eliminations gradually, periodically. I feel like the pacing of these Royal Rumbles were very good, which sort of helped me really enjoy it a lot more. And also, I know there was some discussion on our end about it, or at least the crowd that we were in. But I honestly really enjoy the new sort of play-by-play strip underneath the ticker on the bottom of the screen as the match was going on. Frankly, it made tracking the match way easier than in years past. And
Oh,
plus, it
I
gave it
love it.
like a dynamic feel behind it. I really enjoyed it.
I loved it when they introduced it last year, and I loved it just as much this year. And it actually convinced Scholar Charlie that like at first he wasn't a big fan of it, but as the time went on, he's like, yeah, you know what? I like this. This is actually a really good idea, and I'm glad that they kept it for this year. And I just now it's just a new staple for future Royal Rumbles that I've really come to like.
Oh yeah, they're definitely bringing their A game. But now, speaking of bringing your A game, now we're got the men's Royal Rumble match, and right out of the gate, it did seem like they had to call an audible on the positioning of Braun Breaker after that little snafu on SmackDown when they accidentally give away the Braun Breaker number one, and like, oh, for people saw that, uh-oh, we gotta switch it around. Now Braun Breaker's number two. Who we gonna stick in number one? Obafemi. Yeah, that's the ticket. Obafemi. Which, again, I don't mind that Obafemi came out at number one. I dig it. I'm a big Obafemi guy, and I'm just glad he was just kicking ass for so long. I dug it.
I got a lot to say when it comes to certain presentations of the men's roster, but more specifically like the upper mid card, lower card, all that. But I'm gonna save that for a like little later in the show. But I'm glad, like I do agree. Obafemi definitely had a great presentation in this, coming in as number one, taking out the first five people right away. Um, Unfortunately for Braun Breaker, he gets eliminated, but it's like part of the story. I'm still not a big fan of how that ended up because just not only because he was my prediction to win to get me a point in the matter, but just again, that's something that's going to be saved for later in the show. But it's just one of the things that just is my biggest criticism of WWE as a whole right now.
Are you
But
trying to
yeah,
tell me that you're not a fan of yet another masked mysterious man?
oh, it's not. It doesn't have anything to do with that. Even I
I'm only
wonder
saying
if
that
it
because honestly, I
actually.
think it's starting to get old now. Anyway,
I'm just
continue.
curious. I'm curious if it's actually gonna because the reports are saying that for Royal Rumble it was Grayson Waller who did the attack. I'm curious if they're actually gonna actually reveal it to be Grayson Waller who did the attacking, or if they're just having him fill in as like he's just the body for when Seth Rollins comes back, and then Seth will just take the place. And oh, it's been Seth all along. Are you sure about that? Oh yeah, we'll just we'll rewrite it because you don't know who's under that mask. So we'll just say it's that from the beginning. So we'll see on it when it comes to that, but it's not exactly the whole mask figure that bothers me. So it's just uh, all it is. I can't. I'm basically going to be quoting Roman here. It's just the creative aspect when it comes to WWE that's just really bothering me.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the appeal of this Royal Rumble in particular, for me anyway, was less about the overarching storylines, but more again, the structure of the match and who they actually got to be in it. Uh, Mostly because I got my pick for surprise entrant from AAA. We got Mr. Iguana
Oh, we
in,
knew that was going to happen.
but what I did not expect was they were going to bring in my original OG favorite luchador from WCW. They brought in La Parca to the frickin' Royal Rumble. I was overjoyed to see La Parca in the Royal Rumble. It's like, that's so fun. Uh, but yeah,
I won't be the killjoy and be like, that's not the WCW La Parka, though. But
I
I'll let you
know the
have it.
original. I know my La
I'll let you
Parca
have it.
lore. Yeah, I know the original WCW La Parca is LA Park now, and that the modern La Parca is the successor. Maybe it's his son. I don't even know. But damn it, it's the legacy of funny skeleton chairman. I like my skeleton chairman, and I got La Parca in the Royal Rumble.
Well, all I was thinking, I even said this when we were watching it. I'm just watching him in the ring, and all I'm hearing in my head is spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down my spine. And I just want to see him just go that little skeleton swing from that old cartoon. That's all I wanted to see. But of course, that's just the inner child in me.
But
But it
now we've
was fun. It was
got
funny to see him though, and it was funny to see Damian Priest chokeslam Mr. Iguana. And I swear to God, I keep forgetting the iguana's name.
La Yesca.
Laesca. Thank you. I gotta keep practicing trying to remember it. Shit, Laesca?
Uh, La Yesca, or just
Laesca.
Yeska if you're nasty.
Yeah. Okay. I'm informal.
References.
Laesca. Okay, I gotta remember that. But it's nice to see him chokeslam both of them in the match, and then Trick Williams being the ultimate heel and eliminating both of them. It was funny. It had some funny moments. It still made me question. Finn really couldn't get a spot in the Rumble. Oh,
But
it
then
made me
again,
not. It's like it made me miss him a little bit in the match.
and I think that's by design, given what they've got for Finn coming up. I imagine that they do. But meanwhile, this entire match was so jam-packed with people, including the rumors are true, the debut of Royce Keys, formerly Powerhouse Hobbs. Uh, Initial impressions on the debut of Royce Keys in the Royal Rumble and in WWE as a whole.
It shouldn't have happened. I'm gonna be with most people are saying it shouldn't have happened here because the Saudi crowd did not know who he was. Oh, maybe like a small number did because there were AEW chants as was reported, but this crowd did not care who this. They just said this is just another guy. We don't know who Powerhouse Hobbs is. We don't know what's going on. Why is he staring down Cody Rhodes? And again, it wasn't the right place. Maybe if it was here in the States, it would have been a bigger deal. But in Saudi, mm-mm. I mean, I'm glad. I mean, for us who actually are following both products, it was a big deal. It was just like, ooh, because you have Powerhouse Hobbs on the Titantron first, and then the wall breaks into Royce Keys. That's crazy. But to get the response from the crowd, it left little to the imagination because the Saudi crowd only cared about certain number of people and not majority of the roster.
And that's the
One,
problem, isn't it, boys? I mean, that's the problem with this event is I felt like this crowd just wasn't into it. You have Powerhouse Hobbs coming in, nobody cared. And you're going to get that because you have freaking Omi starting the Rumble, dominating the beginning. And then you're going to have Powerhouse Hobbs come later. It just doesn't make sense. The only thing I liked about this Rumble was I felt like it was just uh, uh, just nice moments. Like My favorite thing was Cody getting eliminated by Drew. I think that was great with the storytelling with Cody not winning the third time. You heard the eruption of the crowd for LA Knight. Maybe it's his time. Nope, Triple H said, not today, buddy. You fucked me in the workout video. Yeah. So I'm gonna fuck you now in WWE with the crowd being behind you. But no, let's go with fucking Roman Reigns, a fucking part-time motherfucker who doesn't need to win this Rumble. Why did he win this Rumble? What is happening when you could have had Finn have the rise that he's been having? And even shout out to Laparca. It's those cool little moments, like you said. There were cool moments we had, but at the end of the day, it's the same old bullshit. Scholar Tark, was it not you who knew what was coming and just said, "This, I'm done with this Rumble." I walked out of Scholar Jeff's house because this Rumble was fucking ass. Straight up. I love this event, and this event just did not do it. The surprises were one or two. You could have had great moments. You didn't even see fucking Brock Lesnar get eliminated because Jey Uso took 5 minutes to get down to the ring. What are we doing, WWE?
And that basically, I'm gonna aim my anger towards when it comes to WWE and its creative later in the show. But that's just like a small highlight of just one of the problems that WWE has, which I will say, yes, it. I didn't want Roman was the one of the last people that I wanted to win this Rumble, and when he did end up winning, it really killed my mood because I'm in that camp of it should have been at least someone like Braun, just someone who needs it uh to be that like, oh, he we need that new face to be pushed to the point where you need to make a new star, and having to rely on Roman, who I agree with Pete, like he's a part-timer. I wasn't happy with that result. Granted, the promo that him and CM Punk had on Monday Night Raw and talking about their history from referencing Colt Cabana's podcast and him coming and his coming up, and even the Zebros, which I even said on Sunday, I'm like, the only reason I'll be okay with this Rumble win is if they're going for Roman Reigns versus CM Punk over Roman versus Cody 3. Now that we're getting the Battle of the Zebros, I am actually looking forward to it, and the promo definitely helped a lot, but it still didn't change how I felt when it happened, and I still think there could have been other people who deserved the win a lot more than Roman, but it's like what Brian said last week. It it's them thinking about the money aspect and thinking about the quote unquote stars, and that was the best choice for the build to WrestleMania. And it's going to be the first time since the reintroduction of the World Heavyweight title that it's going to close WrestleMania, because there is no way this is not closing night two of WrestleMania.
Hmm.
And that also scares me because I've already said it on the show plenty of times. I'm perfectly fine with Roman never winning a world title again. But if they're going to close the show, that may actually be leading to it. But if it is, as long as he doesn't have another incredibly long title reign, then whatever. Hell, have just Braun Breaker come in and beat him again. This is basically a soapbox rant I'm going to save for later in the show, which will probably go for my like overall aspect of just the Royal Rumble and the Raw after. But when it comes to just the winner itself, yeah, I was disappointed, but they did save it with the promo between Punk and Roman on Raw.
Oh yeah, for sure. That was the big takeaway for me personally with Monday Night Raw, where I was sort of neutral to to the Roman Reigns Royal Rumble win. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's predictable. Yeah, okay. I wonder where they were gonna go with this. But the promo from Roman was probably one of the best he's ever done. I was just very pleasantly surprised, and especially with the way they hyped it up, I'm like, okay, this is instantly way more interesting than I thought it was ever going to be. Whether or not he actually wins, I don't know. I don't particularly care at the moment, but again, compared to the neutrality I felt from the Royal Rumble win from Roman already, this was a pleasant surprise. I'm like, okay, I'm interested to see where this goes. This could be potentially good. I dig it. But before we get into the rest of Monday Night Raw and our extended thoughts on that, what would you guys give as an overall rating to Royal Rumble 2026?
Pete, you're the champion. You can go first on this one.
2 out of 5.
To
I
five, that would be a peach fuzz.
just beach fuzz indeed. This was a Rumble I'll never fucking remember ever again. I hated this Rumble. I thought it was trash. We didn't talk about the title matches because there was nothing to talk about. The crowd wasn't in it. It was just for show and tell. You said it before, gentlemen, and I echo it. I really hope that they get their shit together when it's WrestleMania season. But for showing Royal Rumble off an exciting event for that audience to give that energy, for the matches to be what they were. Again, I say, I just because it's my favorite event, it gets 2 points because we can't give zeros on this scale. 2 out of 5. Peach fuzz.
Interesting. How about you, Scholar Tark?
Actually, Jeff, like I said, I'm gonna have a long rant on how I
Okay.
feel about the WWE product as a whole,
All right. I'll
coming
go
from
first.
this and Raw. So you can go next.
Okay. Yeah, honestly, it was an imperfect show, but I still enjoyed it very much for what we did get. I mean, there are so many factors in both Royal Rumble matches and everything. There really wasn't enough for me to really hate on the match. Like it's always going to be imperfect to some degree, but for what we got, there was a lot for me to enjoy here, and I'm gonna go in the complete opposite direction. I'm gonna give this thing a 4 out of 5 full beard. Like it was overall a well constructed pair of Royal Rumble matches. We've seen, in my opinion, far less engaging Royal Rumble matches just in the last 4 or 5 years. So to get this one was more than acceptable to my palate. The only real negative I can see is that the title matches were what we expected them to be. There weren't really too much in the way of surprises at all, but was what we expected it to be. And frankly, in terms of uh the Gunther AJ Styles match, up until that point, it's honestly what I wanted to see happen. So overall, this scratched the itch. It was what I wanted it to be. The results are, not unexpected. So I guess if anywhere I was going to lose, it was going to lose a point for predictability. But overall, I there was a lot for me personally to enjoy. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 full beard.
Okay, so I'm gonna go in between both of you. I'm gonna have you guys be the pieces of bread to my meaty sandwich. I'm gonna go.
Ooh, kinky.
I'm gonna go 3 out of 5. It's gonna be a low 3 out of 5, but it's still a 3 out of 5 classic goatee. It wasn't a it wasn't a terrible show. It left me more upset than anything, but again, they were able to save it from the following night. Actually, my favorite match that came out of that whole show was AJ Styles versus Gunther, because that one just I love the story of where they're going with Gunther being the career killer and him just keeping that momentum going. And Well, actually, although I will have to point out that like this little inconsistent thing that they go with having the arm up and drop once, and that's the end of the match, compared to how they did it with Cena and having Cena do the one, two, he's fighting back at three. That's having Cena do that, be the only person who's done that for a while now, since they've been actually going with that whole MMA thing of just the arm goes limp once and it's over. And having Cena do the old school WWE thing is just, I'm like, I guess it's just for the drama of it, of course, but be consistent with it. Because I heard some people complain, it's like, oh, they didn't do it. They didn't do the three. So, because they were expecting the three since they did it with Cena. So it's like, oh, well, that's on you then, or that's on WWE then for being inconsistent with that. But I looked at this men's Royal Rumble, and all I was able to see are missed opportunities to have the younger stars really shine and show where they're going when it comes to the road to WrestleMania. And people like Oba Femi and uh, Javon Evans, yeah, they had to point out that he was the Iron Man at this year, being in there for 40 minutes, and he was nothing more than a background character to. I will admit this was a fun moment during the Rumble, but the whole El Grande Americano versus the OG El Grande Americano with the return of Chad Gable, and we got the El Grande Americano Spider-Man meme in the match. That I like that goofiness. That was a fun moment. But my big problem is something that is really been the biggest criticism of WWE for the past 2 years. I guess the past year and a half is them lacking to create the new stars that could have us not have to rely on Roman Reigns winning. Like you look at his interview with Pat McAfee on his show criticizing WWE creative, more specifically just, oh, he's not mentioning it, but it's just simply pointing out, yeah, Triple H's creative is not in a good spot right now when it comes to creating stars. And I'm also going to blame Roman on that one because I understand he's now earned that part time, and it's just because of his like his cancer, he can't do that many matches. But you gotta at least be there to help put some of these guys over to make them feel like a credible threat. He started doing that with Bronson Reed, and you have uh, Triple H's creative not do anything for him afterwards. The Vision is in a hole right now, and LA Knight, he's getting the biggest crowd reactions of most people on in the Rumble, and he had the biggest reaction on this Monday's Raw. And where is he? What's he doing right now? He's back to having a feud with the Vision, but the question is, who's going to benefit from this? Not LA Knight, and at least not members of the Vision right now, because they're thinking, oh, they're too young to be put in the position where they could be a big star, big attraction. Like that's one of my biggest criticisms why Braun Breaker was the underappreciated superstar of 2025, because he had a moment that could have skyrocketed him to be a main eventer by spearing Seth Rollins and taking the world heavyweight title away from him. But then after that, they were just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Braun. Here's this little an actual barrier to actually put on the brakes of that monster momentous push." And you have someone like Oba Femi coming in on Raw and beating and taking out the Viking Raiders. Jeff, you mentioned on our chat that you actually really liked the presentation. my biggest takeaway from it is what what is the point? Show that he's strong? Okay, that's good. But where is he going now? He didn't make any point of like where his story is going, and all we're getting is just basically a squash match to against two people who haven't really done anything in a while. I like the Viking War Raider experience, but they haven't done anything significant the past year to make this beatdown really feel special. So like what I would have done is Oba comes out uh and it's like, oh, he's coming out before this tag team match. He grabs a microphone and calls out Brock Lesnar for eliminating him, setting up a potential of him versus Brock Lesnar. That makes that whole thing mean something because all it is just empty calories of him beating people up that most of the crowd doesn't give a shit about. That was the biggest shock on Monday Night Raw for me is that it was in Philly. Philly, one of the biggest wrestling fans of the United States, and they didn't give a shit about this Raw except for two moments. One, the tease that Gunther did coming out in AJ Styles music, which I absolutely adored. I love that type of shit. It was CM Punk coming out to Jeff Hardy all those years ago type of heat, and I absolutely loved it. And then you had the Roman Reigns CM Punk promo. Those are the biggest things that came out of the show. And yeah, Javon Evans being the background character for essentially a joke feud, because that nothing's gonna big is gonna come out of that. The El Grande Americano feuds. There's nothing coming on with Oba Femi right now taking down a bunch of guys. Again, empty calories. And if you want us to actually really care about these stars or about these upcoming stars, then you got to take their momentum and go with it because if you're not, it just shows, we don't care about it right now. So why should we and the audience care about it? Because eventually it's going to be like, okay, well, you're giving these guys title opportunities when it's too late. We don't care. We honestly don't care about it anymore. Instead of doing it well, we're going, oh my God, that's fucking awesome. They should do something with this and choose not to. I'm That's just my biggest issue with WWE right now. And AEW does similar problems, but they actually are in a position right now where they are building a very strong main event division where you have someone like Kenny Omega, Swerve Strickland, uh, Hangman Adam Page, uh, Brody King coming and squashing MJF.
Oh
That's
yeah.
and Andrade
The
doing something.
rise of Andrade out of nowhere and
And then you
Brody
have
King
the
getting over like
yeah, you have that stuff where they're taking these moments and actually building on something with it. It's their position to actually like once they have the storyline end where you got to put them in the position of your roster afterwards. That's something that AEW also has a problem with, but they're actually at a point where it's like, okay, we're gonna like put them here, but they're still top guys. They're still facing top level guys. You have Takeshita going against John Moxley for the eventual Continental title match. Ooh, excuse me. But when it comes to WWE, you have these people that can be main event stars that you've built from NXT, you've built from the bottom and built making them big. The only person who actually feels like they're on that right direction is Trick Williams, being put in a fatal four way with top names like Sami Zayn, Randy Orton, and I can't really say anything about Damian Priest because he had a momentum going and then they just stopped and now he's directionless. And that's the problem. Most of the people in your mid card and upper mid card are directionless. And the crowd are really starting to pick up on that and really call out Triple H's creativity. You have Roman Reigns call out Triple H's creativity. or creative process and just be like, okay, we like long-term storytelling, but these long-term storytelling's gotta go somewhere. They gotta make their marks. I mean, Braun Breaker's been on the main roster for at least, I think, coming up to 3 to 4 years now,
If
and it
that's
just doesn't,
true, that's
and it
it
just
doesn't
doesn't,
feel like it.
and it doesn't feel like it. He still feels like I still got a lot to learn. That was my big criticism last year. He still got, they're telling us through the characters he's not a main event star. So if you're telling us that, why should we care? Because you basically took that fiery momentum that they had and just pulled a fire extinguisher and put that shit out. And that's something that's really like the fans are really now noticing, and most people are criticizing Triple H about it. Where you have the fucking Saudi Arabia crowd chanting, "We want Vince." Okay, Triple H's creative has a major flaw, but I'd be damned if we actually go back to the point where Vince McMahon of 2026 takes over creative. Vince McMahon creative of 2020 almost killed the company when it comes to like fan reaction. People were just going away from that because we were just it was so incredibly bad creative. We don't want Vince McMahon, but when you have basically stupid casuals chanting that stupid shit because you're not building stars and we're having to rely on someone like Roman to actually make give you that money making match when you actually have these young hungry talent that could make it if you actually push them right. uh that's this is not the best way to build stars. It's not building stars. And instead of this is a Vince McMahon issue. You're not listening to your audience and going with it. I swear to God, LA Knight should be a world champion, at least a former world champion by now. But you were just making it's not Zack Ryder levels because he's LA Knight's not doing anything to like get himself over, like creating a internet wrestling show or anything like that. He's just naturally getting over because of how charismatic he is on your product, and you're choosing not to take advantage of that. It's like saying Stone Cold Steve Austin is such a great talker and the crowd are loving it, and you're ignoring it. Don't ignore this. Yeah, and I'm gonna say, yeah, LA Knight could be on the level of Stone Cold Steve Austin when it comes to characters because he has that charisma to do it. And I'm just basically going circles now, but all in all, you're basically taking these people and not making them feel special, even though you're telling us, don't they feel special? No, you're telling us, show us.
And I think that's the key difference there. That of Yeah, I couldn't really put a finger on it, but yeah, they're definitely doing more showing rather than telling. Like again with the whole Obafemi thing. Yeah, I was more like, oh, he just t took on the Viking Raiders 2-on-1. That's surprising. Okay, I see they're going for the generic, big monster jobber squash push thing that they're always doing. Like, okay, fine. Like, and they're doing the usual thing with guys like Javon Evans, where like, okay, we'll put him in this random feud until we figure out something else for him to do. It seems like it seems like they're phoning a lot of this stuff in. Not that it's inherently bad, but it's just not hype inducing. Pete,
There's
am I
only
making sense?
Yeah, you're right. It is as what was it that you put it again?
It seems like they're phoning it in.
Phoning
It
it. Yes. Okay. There's so many. There's only so many times where you can phone it in, and they've been phoning in a lot on these superstars to where you just go, okay, you're phoning it in. Call us when it actually means something, and let's see if we actually still care when you inevitably do it. And that's the sad part. You don't know when you're doing. Man, the Vision don't feel special anymore. Yeah, and they're like in a feud with the quote unquote authority figure, but it just doesn't like where is it gonna go? Where is this going? Where like and it's not at all it's like just watch and we'll see. We're watching and it's hurting the product more than it's than keeping us involved, keeping us intrigued because we don't know where when this is going to happen and once it reaches the point, do should we care? Because is does this feel like a star? Again, Bronson Reed has beaten Roman Reigns clean, and they just choose not to do anything with it. He doesn't feel he actually I feel like he's actually gotten worse because you have him have a match with Penta, which granted it was an awesome match. They had a great match on Raw, but you had this Philly crowd who just didn't give a shit. And that's just something that has to be brought up. You're putting the crowd in a position where they are no longer caring about the people that you're putting on, except when it only matters when it comes to Roman and Punk. It's like it's back to a Vince McMahon thing. It's like, oh, the rest of the crowd don't matter. These are the people who you should be focusing on, and that's something we don't want to see. That was something I was hoping that was going to be gone once Vince left and once Triple H took control as creative. And we were starting, and when it began, we were getting that because everything felt important in 2024, in 2023, 2024. Everything felt like a big deal. All the characters who were there actually meant something, and it actually connected that made us want to see what happened the next week. I don't care what happens next week. I don't care what happens because there's these people are stuck in a rut. Is it just because we're waiting until it gets closer to Mania to actually mean something?
I think you
That's
got
not
it
good.
in one, unfortunately.
But that's something that you just got to point out. It's like, wait, why should we care? And again, I'm going to start comparing it to AEW because AEW is putting on consistent great shows each week, and as much as they're great wrestling shows, they're also great storytelling. As much as people say, "Oh, AEW doesn't tell stories," they are telling stories, and it actually is meaning something in the when it in the long run. That's actually keeping us invested.
I was gonna
I want
say
it.
everything that you just talked about is was like not like not pushing any young guys, not prepping them for long-term things. One of the criticisms I've got with AEW is they will give everyone a freaking shot. Like they will just like throw a bunch of dudes at a wall and see what sticks. And I feel like right now they're really stepping up and are giving more people shots. Like what we're talking about with Andrade just got newly reinvigorated. Now that he's all in on AEW, he's just like full on. They're investing in him more. He just got a win over Kenny Omega this week. And then we're talking about the current rise of Brody King right now. He he beats legitimately MJF. He got a crazy pop. He got a chant from the crowd that got mainstream news attention. Like that's a whole nother level of stuff that we really haven't seen in a very long time for Brody King. Like I was expecting the rise of Brody King, but not quite like this. And it's like, okay, this is something fresh, this is something new. You got something good on your hands here. It's it's engaging. It's like a total different philosophy for AEW alone. Like, yeah, the perfect promotion doesn't exist. Every promotion on the planet, past, present, and future, is going to make their fair share of mistakes. There are no flawless shows. But at least there's a definite, again, pardon the pun, there's a definite vision here. There's a definite game plan. AEW has its identity and its roadmap. It knows what it needs to be, and its fans know what they want from it. With WWE, it just seems like I've never seen a drop so steep from the highs of WrestleMania 40 to now. It it's like a whole new ball game here, and it is it's acceptable, but compared to the astronomical heights that we were at, it's nowhere close to the peak.
And all it leaves is just there's only so far you can go to be, as we put it in the past, and as other people said, other big names in the internet wrestling community have said, they're playing it safe. But there's only so far you can go to keep the bumpers on. You got to take them off eventually. And you had plenty of opportunities to put those bumpers down and take risks. And you're too afraid to make risks, and in the end it's hurting your talent, it's hurting the credibility of your talent to actually make new stars. And it's honestly really heartbreaking to see because they do have such a great list of talent in their roster. And where do these people go? Like what are they gonna do between now and Mania to make this whatever the card is for WrestleMania's night one and night two feel special? Other than just it's WWE. I hated that when Vince did it. It's like it's not the talent that's special, it's the brand of WWE that's special. And we're slowly getting back to that. And I honestly just I hate it. And I still love WWE. I love the talent that's in there. And I will still support them because they entertain me throughout the years. I just want them to actually really show that the hard work they're putting on is actually benefiting what they have. And the whole argument, oh, they're still young, they still have so many years left in them. There's no guarantees. There's going to be moments where you're going to have someone get injured and then their career is over. I mean, look what happened with Big E.
Big
He
E
still
comes
had,
to mind. Piper Niven is coming to mind. We don't know if she's ever
yeah.
coming back.
And this one's just a joke, but who the hell knows what the hell happened to Bianca Belair's hand that keeps her away from WWE for almost 2 years? But that again, that's just a joke. But it's still, what the hell is going on with that? Are they just waiting for the right moment to bring her back, or is this something really going on? But again, something might happen on these shows that could be career threatening. So just go while the iron is hot. Again, I am so surprised that Braun Breaker hasn't won a championship yet. I am just in just utter shock that like he is not one of the big heels on this one. And you have Finn Balor. I'm super happy that Finn Balor is actually getting a push, but where is he going to go after Elimination Chamber?
I'll
Is he
tell you
still
what.
is he still going to be like one of is this push actually going to put him in a position where he'll keep coming back to a main event spot, or is he just going to be pushed down to the undercard again?
I'll tell you what. Short answer, I don't know. Somewhat longer answer, I'm interested in finding out. Because the way they're portraying him, it doesn't seem like it's not, it's absolutely positively not going to go anywhere. Like, for example, what I'm talking about, if they were to give Shinsuke Nakamura another push, like put him in the Intercontinental scene like tomorrow. Frankly, with his track record, as much as I love him, that man is not touching any more titles. He, he has gone as far as WWE will let him go, and it's been so long that he's been in that position where his position is concrete. I have a moderate amount of hope that this will not be the case for Finn. If he doesn't do something of any significance between now and WrestleMania or by WrestleMania, then I'm gonna say, yeah, they're just spinning their wheels with him as well. Uh, it seems like we're at a deadlock here. Uh, Scholar Pete, what are thoughts, opinions on the status of talent in WWE and AEW as a whole leading up to WrestleMania? Immediate aftermath of Royal Rumble. Where's everyone at? Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's interesting because you said it, especially towards the end, Jeff, just talking about how like Shinsuke is never gonna go from where he is at. It's the same thing I feel of like we have this conversation with LA Knight. Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's certain wrestlers that like you see. Look at The Miz. I love The Miz. The Miz hasn't won a singles match in how long now? But again, it's also because he knows his status in the company. He also knows that on a given dime they can give him the belt and have him run with it. But the problem with WWE, and it's why I hate the Rumble, is it was okay, we knew for the people that know, we knew what was going to happen for the most part. You have Roman winning, you have Liv winning, but again, it's because WWE can't go, hey, look at this LA Knight versus CM Punk at WrestleMania. No, that's not going to sell the tickets. What's going to sell the tickets is Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, taking on CM Punk. And like we were saying, that was one of the best promos he's done in years, if not ever. Like Roman, I know this build will be good. Like I'm not saying that these men are bad at their jobs. No, they kill it, but it's also the same old shtick. Like, give me something that's fresh. Give me something that's new. The rumor is seeing Finn Balor versus Dom for the IC title at Mania. It's not the world title, but at least it's something for Finn. It's something where they can make a story out of the Judgment Day. We've been talking about them sending up all these stories. It's like, okay, it's WWE and Triple H going, oh, we're making you a filet mignon. Just give it time, give it time. Let it simmer, let it simmer. It's like no, like at certain points, like you see that the thing is simmering, take it off because you're going to miss the opportunity. And then when you get the opportunity where it's like, look, we finally put it on the guy, it's way too late. When on the other side, you have AEW who tries things. Look at how they were pushing Darby Allin, and we all were like, what is happening? They're pushing Darby Allin to the death ride. Like, they were just trying different things. But at the end of the day, like, it's a business, yes, but you also have to appeal to the fan base. And again, it's not like they hated Roman, but there was definitely different reactions at the Rumble for LA Knight and others. She may not be the biggest fan, Brie Bella, but Brie Bella definitely got the biggest pop of the night for the Royal Rumble for the women's. I feel like it's just at the end of the day, it's these companies that have to obviously abide by the practices and business things and what will draw money. But at the end of the day, you have these television shows with Netflix, you have these deals on HBO Max to build these characters, and at the end of the day, if you said to me a year or two ago, what's the better brand, it would be WWE. They were doing creative stuff. But again, we've talked about it before. AEW has their ear to the ground. Tony Khan is willing to try things. Even if it doesn't work, Tony Khan is just a fan of wrestling, and you could tell with his excitement. It's why I feel like AEW is the fun little like college football for all you football people out there, where it's fun, it's exciting, you could do whatever you want. But then you get to the NFL and it's a whole different ball game, and obviously the NFL is the WWE. But it's at the end of the day, the the Patriots are going to sell money. They're at the Super Bowl. Roman Reigns is going to sell tickets because he's the tribal chief. But then again, in closing, I'll talk with AEW how MJF lost clean, that nobody saw that coming. But it's because it's AEW, I think, just has a good momentum, good vibes. Everybody's killing it. Who does not want to see Tony Storm and Orange Cassidy in a hair versus hair like tag team match? Like that just and the
It's
promo
literally the kind of thing that you would see on AEW Collision, wouldn't you, Scholar Pete?
exactly. And it's just it just shows that, and I've said this before, and please, Scholar fans, let us know in the chat if I'm wrong. I mean, I said this for months that AEW has gotten my attention more and more every week, every day, every week, every month. It's just the better product because at the end of the day, with Triple H, it started great. He was giving all what we wanted, but at the end of the day, it's now a business where it's Nick Khan and going like, "Hey, let's put Roman Reigns, so that way we can have The Rock screw Roman Reigns, and next year we can have Roman Reigns versus The Rock in Saudi Arabia. Wouldn't that make millions?" Okay, buddy, like that's what we're getting, not, hey, Finn's really been busting his ass. Hey, LA Knight has really gotten these crowd. It's no, it's the big guys who sell the pay-per-views, who sell the merchandise. When again, it's AEW being that more, hey, here's risk, here's what we want you to do, just don't kill yourself with the moves you do.
Darby, don't kill yourself.
But
I
the,
swear to
but
God, that man is trying to kill himself with all the shit that they having him do.
I'm convinced the man is at least 45% rubber. He doesn't actually have bones or anything that can break. He just, walk it off. You'll be fine, kid.
listen,
Well,
he'll do
I and
conventions with Sting for the rest of his days.
And I'm sure he'd
I
be more than cool with it.
Yeah, right. Who wouldn't?
it's really funny because every time I think of this, how big AEW is like doing with its product, it just makes me go back to when we went to go see Full Gear in Newark, Jeff, and we took Charlie, who doesn't follow AEW. The only time he really pays any attention to AEW is when we talk about it on Scholars, and he goes to a show and he's hooked. He's a big Kyle Fletcher fan because it reminds him of a young Randy Orton. And it's like, there, you're finding something to connect with this show and you're rolling with it. And Kyle Fletcher is a great example because they're putting him in a good position. But, and this is now just me being a geeky fan. I want to see Tony Storm and Orange Cassidy make out.
It's
I just want to
coming.
have that
It
special
Coming.
shouldn't work, but it does. It really
It
It's
shouldn't
does.
work,
coming.
but it does. I just want to just I just want them to show up at what is it, Grand Slam
Yes, Grand
coming up,
Slam
or
Australia.
Grants. I just want them to win the match, and it just ends with them making out. I don't know why. It just makes me be like, I want them to be like a. I'm getting like a Molly Holly, uh, Spike Dudley vibes from them, and it's actually kind of adorable. And I just want them to like, but to a more extreme level, especially when it comes to Tony Storm. But and uh Orange Cassidy is just that one cool kid. And I just want them to be like, and I'm just going, kiss, 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 kiss.
Now, kid.
Like, now kiss my toys, kiss. But okay, but then,
Oh,
again, that's
hey,
just
I'll
one of those
tell you
things.
what. I'll be all in on this, no pun intended, if it results in an intergender street fight between Orange Cassidy and Mina Shirakawa
Yeah, right.
in a
Oh,
Scott
that's
Pilgrim match for the heart of Tony Storm.
Tony Storm on a pole match.
Hmm.
But again, it's just one of those things. It's like, okay, that's the kind of drama that just keeps me invested, and that's just one of those things. There's stories going on. Yes, there are stories going on in AEW that are keeping me invested in it, and the characters are going somewhere in this, and I'm intrigued to see where they're going, and I want WWE to do the same. Simple as that. I'm not some of these lunatic idiots out there going, "Let's fire Triple H." No, absolutely not. Triple H has been making was making consistent television in the beginning, and I think he could do it again. I just want him to do it again because he has the tools. He's got the tools, buddy. Make us some fucking comedy. Sorry, that was a quote on TED too. But bring us a product that we actually are watching and are actually really keeping us intrigued. There are sprinkles, but we want to have the whole thing. We don't want the empty calories. We want that full filling meal. Going back to the food puns, that's just a big thing in scholars.
So before we move on from this topic, there is one other topic that I would like to address in the form of a scholar's quick talk, if I may.
Sure.
We're talking about the retirement of AJ Styles. My scholar's quick talk is in your opinion, your guys' opinion, is AJ Styles really retired at this point, or is he going to go someplace else? And if so, where do you think he's going to go? Fire
I
away.
don't know. I don't know where he's going to go, but I want, but I guess just like the quote quote stats man that I would like to see it for him is I want to see him wrestle in AEW just so he can say he's wrestled in every big wrestling promotion from WWE, WCW, TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan. Um,
So you're
he's
saying
wrestled in,
Christopher Daniels?
he's wrestled in NWA, right?
Uh, AJ Styles?
Yeah.
I know he held the NWA TNA title, but
Does that count?
yeah, I'm not sure. I know he's definitely held the belt before. Uh, whether or not that counts as NWA at all,
But
I don't
I'm
know.
just saying, he's wrestled in like the biggest wrestling promotions of our lifetime. I want to see him basically pull off that bingo card and have him wrestle in AEW just so he can have that little buckle in his belt.
Yeah, like you said, Scholar Pete. Yeah, basically pull a Christopher Daniels. There's so few people left in wrestling who can really do that anymore. And really, if there's anybody else who can match the Chris Daniels record, it's AJ Styles. And frankly, I think with everyone seeing Sting and his retirement and how he was treated in AEW, I think given where AJ Styles has been and the kind of wrestling he's attracted to, I am more confident than ever that he's going to do the rest of his last year in wrestling with AEW. I'm just convinced of that at this point.
I mean, let's picture a dream scenario, gentlemen, just quickly. You said a scholar's quick talk. I'm gonna give you some scholar knowledge. Here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna have him go to AEW, and AJ Styles is gonna win the belt. That's right. He's gonna win the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. And you know who his last match is gonna be against? It's going to be against Will Ospreay, and Will finally capture the AEW World Title. And it will be AJ having an incredible match with Will Ospreay, and then saying to Will, "You are the future in this business." That is the front face and plan for AJ Styles in 2026.
You know what? I cannot think of a better ending for AJ Styles other than that.
But I mean, it gives AJ the world title. It gives an amazing match with Will Ospreay. You know those two will bring it. And what a way to end. You know, you have Gunther, which, hey, you're helping the business for WWE, who was great for you for 10 years. But here's AEW, who takes care of their people. Your friends are there. Your best friends are there. Come on over, win the title, and then have an incredible match with our top guy. And then right off into the sunset because by God, you deserve it.
Couldn't have said it any better myself. All good things. I'm glad we're all on the same page at that at least.
He
But
has
ne
wrestled in NWA. I'm looking this up. AJ Styles has wrestled in
Boom,
NWA.
there you go. But now with that, we cannot call it a show without talking about the real shows of this past week or this week coming up, because we got to talk about the best of the best of the best. The only shows that will never let you down. We are, of course, talking about the Saturday Night Slam Masters because I am your Sa Saturday Night Velocity World Wildlife Fund TM champion. Scholar Pete, you are the AEW Saturday Night Collision World Champion. And we're going to give you previews of what you can see this week on both shows. And Scholar Tarek, you, as always, will tell us which is the show that you will be watching this week. This is Saturday Night Slam Masters. The only real question right now is who's going first?
Yay me.
You, sir. I went first last week.
Well, okay then. I will gladly share the rapscallion excitement that you can see on this week on World Wildlife Fund Saturday Night Velocity TM. Because in our first opening contest, we've got an absolute contest of the indie darlings. We've got the legendary John I'm a Bad Guy Jones versus the one and only Crack Rangoon. Yeah, that's right. We got him. They said they wouldn't get their shot at the big time, but they're getting it tonight. And you will see the future right here in front of your faces, ladies and gentlemen. But next, we've got a battle of the Lucha Libre legends. That's right, we're talking about the legendary La Parca going one-on-one against the one and only LA Park. Yes, it's in a Dancing Skeletons match. It's going to be spooky. It's going to be scary. It's going to be skeletons. And it's going to be amazing. It's the kind of entertainment you can only get right here at World Wildlife Fund, Saturday Night Velocity TM. But we're still not done. We are still not done because in our main event, we've got a special 1-on-7 handicap attraction match. We've got Harambe coming back. He is going to be live and in person going 1-on-7 with a band of Waffle House employees. First time ever in the world. You know you can only see it. You know you're going to want to watch it. It's Saturday Night Velocity World Wildlife Fun TM. Back to you, Scholar Pete.
Amusing, amusing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Saturday Night Collision Corner, where we bring you the best matches. Of course, like and subscribe to the video, comment about who wins, but it's only going to be one-sided because our first match is going to be the fight of the ages. Tommy Pickles will finally go against Chucky and the ultimate who is the better Rugrat. Yes, that's
Pinster.
right. We're going to unveil the pig, the baby pen. They're gonna open it up, and Phil and Dill, yes, Phil and Dill have respectfully chosen who they're gonna follow. Of course, Phil is Team Tommy, and we got Dill as Team Chuck. It is a match to watch, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you watch because that's kicking off our show. But of course, you know what else is going to be kicking it off is our second match of the evening in a gummy match. We have the Gummy Bears versus the Gummy Worms with our special guest referee, the Gumball. Yes, that's right. The Gumball will officiate the Gummy Bears versus the Gummy Worms, of course, and a gum off. Who will win? Who will be minty fresh? You'll find out in our free main event. But now we get to the main event, ladies and gentlemen. Hush is around everywhere because yes, you've heard it here first. The ultimate battle will commence. The faces from the people who brought you the faces of Foley, it's the faces of Sandler. We have Little Nicky versus Mr. Deeds versus 51st Dates versus Happy Gilmore versus Billy Madison. That's right. It's a Adam Sandler off. We're going to see which Adam Sandler movie reigns supreme. If you ask me, it would have to go to anger management. And
I
that is what
listed.
you are going to see on Collision Corner. That's right. Great matches that feature comics, great foods that feature gummies, and of course, babies. What else do you need? Ladies and gentlemen, let us know down below who won this week. But Scholar Tarek, who for you won this week?
I think we all know who
Uh,
won this week. You don't even need to
uh,
say it, but make it
uh,
official.
uh, uh, uh. Hon- Honestly. I'm gonna go with the collision corner to take this one because of how much you just try to remember how all the Rugrats characters. It's Tommy Pickles, Chucky Finster, and I swear to God, are you trying to say Phil and Dill? Are you meaning the twins, Phil and Lil, or are you gonna actually talk about Dill Pickles betraying his own brother? I'm trying to find some form of reason to make this work in my
I
head.
think we all know the answer to that question.
It's like, oh, and then just gummy worms versus gummy bears with a gumball referee, and somehow it's minty. I don't know. I I was expecting like a pull your teeth out enter, oh, excuse me, pull your teeth out entertainment, but no, you're somehow making this minty fresh. I don't. And then the Battle of Adam Sandler movies. I personally am just gonna go with Happy Gilmore. But yeah, I'd say Pete took this week for me just because of just how hilariously off most of that stuff was.
I'll let the audience know. I forgot that Dale was Tommy's little brother. I literally thought it was Phil and Dale, but you say in Phil and Lil. I was like, yep, that sounds right.
But the storyline implications alone of that pairing being canon on Saturday Night Collision, that's you want to talk about again, once again, AEW pushes hot new talent in directions you wouldn't expect. See, there's living proof every single week. There you go.
Hot,
You know,
hot new talent. Rugrats came out in 1990.
Yeah, but
listen,
they're not even two
we're
hot
like Marvel movies. You'll
new
see
talent.
Phil and Dale again. And
Unless you book them like all grown up, they're all grown up versions of themselves. What are we even talking about anymore?
The finest entertainment you'll ever watch on a Saturday night.
Oh Lord, are you sure about that?
Yes, I am.
Uh,
But
okay.
now is the time in our show where we turn the conversation back to you, our fellow fans. What did you think of the Royal Rumble? Where's everyone going afterwards? And really, who's your favorite Rugrat? We ask the big questions here. No matter what you think, let us know all across the internet. And if you want to join in the conversation yourself, check out all of our social media links and much more at our link tree in the description box below. That's linktree/Scholars of Wrestling for all of our social medias and much, much more. Join the conversation because we're going to be talking about everything, the good, the bad, the highs and the lows, everything in between. Hell, we're even talking Rugrats. We're going to be talking about it all because you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're
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 welcome.
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 See you as the road to WrestleMania continues on.